So my name is Akarsh Singh, and I am founder of Tsaaro with Mr. Krishna here. CIPPE, CIPM. I'm also part of the Asia Advisory Boards of IPP. Krishna here is Director Security and Privacy at Tsaaro. He is CISM, CIPPE, CIPM, FIP. I think I was one of the young guys who were the fellows in information privacy in the world. So a bit about Tsaaro Academy. So what we do is we teach, right? We teach what we preach. So what we do is we learn a lot of things in consulting, and then whatever we learn, we kind of make some put some potatoes, right, and put some tomatoes into it, and then make a good curry out of it. So the curry of Tsaaro is Tsaaro Academy. So what we do is whatever we learn in consulting, we bring it back here and then try to get out there with some courses. We are also the largest partners of IPP in Asia. We do a lot of courses with PCB, DSCI specifically for Indian privacy law, EC Council for EC Council courses, and Quality Austria for our ISO 27001 and 27701. The disclaimer of the session is that this is not a legal advice. And also the disclaimer of the session is that speakers do not represent their companies, though we do. But it's not a legal advice. It's just for reference purposes and educational purposes. If you go to tsaaroacademy.com and just click on the section of free resources, you will see a section where it says mentorship. So what we did is whoever our successful alumni are, we asked them to mentor the next generation of privacy for free. So you can talk to them. So by the way, I'll tell you my problem, by the way. Right, I'll tell you my problem. So I have a problem, big problem, right? Big problem. What happened is in India, I'm talking about India. I know people from UK are here. So in India, it's near to impossible to hire a privacy professional. It's near to impossible. And a privacy professional who has 2 to 3 years of experience can ask any salary, if he obviously knows what he does, can ask any salary, can go anywhere in the world. And if you don't believe me, I can give you names of people who just did that. All my colleagues, right? All my colleagues, when we started privacy in 2018, are either DPOs, senior managers, early promotions, higher salaries. And that is my problem, because now I can't hire anyone, right? Because nobody can hire me, right? So you getting it, right? That's the circle of the loop that is happening. So high compensation, really, really high compensation. Like salaries in 3 years, 4 years are hitting 18 lakhs, 20 lakhs, right? In 3 years of experience. So obviously you start low, right? You get a slow start because it's a law-based information and technology-based information. So you start low, but once you start 1 or 2 years, you're straight, 20 lakhs, 16 lakhs, right? It has gone nowhere, right? And I'm not kidding. And neither I'm asking you to. I'm just telling you my problem. I can't hire people, right? At Tsaaro, we are unable to hire. Our clients are not able to hire because people have at such high salaries that we cannot. So it's a problem. Increase in demand, 30% more jobs, 30% more jobs globally, not just saying in India. There is a recession, market is going bad, everything has happened. But a salary of privacy professional is going up only, and privacy professionals are not there. It's interesting, right? It's very interesting. It's some people come back to me and say, Akarsh, is Tsaaro's business growing? I'm like, boss, I don't know why, but it's growing pretty much. Everywhere, whatever we are doing, it's just growing. I don't know how, why. Let's say that it's growing because privacy is growing. New legislation, 70% of the countries in 194 countries have a law or have upcoming law. Indian law is poised to pass in another 2-3 months.
Yeah, I think, Akash, I just want to add on to one point where you mentioned that there is 30% in data privacy jobs. So I want all of you here to take into consideration that most countries today, or most major economies, do not really have a full-fledged law, except the European region. Of course, they have the GDPR. It's been doing its rounds. But looking at other developed countries or developing nations with a huge workforce, such as India, right? The draft bill is here, but it's not pushed. And once it's something that goes along as a standard practice in organizations, imagine the number of people you would need to make sure that those operations around data privacy and the new cases that would come up is subsequently also dealt with, right? And now we are at that stage, probably in the development stage from 1 to 5, we are at the stage 2, where we at least have a draft bill. And if at stage 2 you have a 30% increase, imagine what the number would be maybe in 2024 or 2025. So this is kind of a profession that is going, really high, really fast. And to support that, you also have new legislations coming up Currently, 70% of countries have some kind of law, but in the future, you may look at a law that is more holistic and central, and also a law that would make it easier for organizations or companies or countries to transfer data internationally, right? So that's the level that we're looking at in terms of maturity. And as of now, we are not a very mature market in terms of privacy. It's still growing. So now is probably the best time to jump into the boat, and it will definitely take you to a yacht, right? So that's what we are looking at.
And we are, I think, the best examples of being in a yacht, though it's costly and we don't have it yet, but just saying so. Okay, why are companies asking for 3 to 5 years of experience? I think because they need somebody with 3 to 5 years of experience, right? So I think if a company's job description says that they want somebody who has experience, I think then it's their choice, right? And it's their informed choice that an organization is taking. And I don't want to say anything against it. Sometimes organizations definitely need experienced people. So that is exactly why you join consulting companies when you start your career, like a Big Four or Tsaaro or anyone, NII Consulting. So the reason I think approach you are taking is, may not be the right approach because you are looking at a job which needs 3 to 5 years experience. But there are tons of that are there for freshers. So you have to reach out to the right people and get it. So, but before that, what have you done that a company will actually take you? That is the real question behind it. So we ran a program for Bosch. So Bosch came to us. So we are helping Bosch to hire. So it's for all freshers. We are training them and then they will get hired. And the same job post went out on our LinkedIn, went out on our alumni groups, went on to Tsaaro privacy update groups. So I'm just saying, like, there are tons of opportunities that are happening because if salaries are growing so fast, jobs are increasing by 30%, then where are these jobs going? Who is taking them? So I think that maybe we have to relook at it, right? So the career roadmap is that we first of all develop knowledge. Secondly, look for opportunity, right? Our LinkedIn, our CV, our knowledge should be aligned to what we want to do. Because an organization, why should an organization spend on your training is also a question that a lot of organizations ask. Because today, everybody is facing a high attrition rate. So when there is high attrition rate anywhere in the industry, then end of day, we also have to agree and analyze that a company's perspective that they want also train people. So they don't have to train people at a very fast pace. So we develop knowledge. We look for opportunities. We devise a career path. We enhance knowledge. We do extensive research and we become privacy pros, right? The best professionals in privacy. But Krishna, I would also, maybe like to hear from you in the knowledge roadmap.
Yeah, I think
So
I would also want to add into the point where Govind said why companies are asking for 3 to 5 years of experience. So, in addition to what Akarsh mentioned about looking for the relevant roles that suits your profile, what most organizations today also expect from a privacy professional, apart from the privacy knowledge, is stakeholder management. Right. So you cannot expect a fresher to come in and join a global enterprise and work at a mid level because you don't really have a lot of people who are working at the entry level, right? So they are expecting for a middle level manager, a person who can also manage other folks, but at the same time can also deal with a lot of different stakeholders from different business lines. Because if you are running a privacy program, if you're trying to understand different data collection points and what your company does as a business, you will have to speak to different people. For that, not everyone is built for that job. You need to understand how stakeholder management is done. You need to understand how to have that discussion with those senior stakeholders, because in the end, they are people who are at the top level of their game, and you have to understand how to gather as much information as possible and put it onto a program that you can leverage, right? Which is why this 3 to 5 years of experience is something that I'm convinced with, because these are mostly global MNCs, larger companies, product based companies who want someone who has done some work around it, right? But if you look at consulting firms, or if you look at organizations that are also training people or trying to bring privacy to India, then of course, those entry level jobs do not really have any requirements. And having said that, we have an intern to hire program. We have internships, data protection consultants who join us as freshers, graduating directly from college. But what we offer to them is we kind of demonstrate to them what the world of privacy looks like, from the different solutions that are available, from how to conduct stakeholder management, as well as different certifications that you can leverage to also make sure the hiring person or the recruiter also catches your resume, right? So those certifications are equally important. Also, it helps in building your network. So I'll just take over this particular section as well, which speaks a bit about the knowledge roadmap. So looking at the knowledge roadmap, there are three basic categories that we've defined. Starting with the beginner category, this is for people who are new to privacy or do not have a relevant idea about how privacy is run or what are the key areas of assets that you need to talk about. Then we start with a couple of certifications, the CTDPO Foundation and the DSCI DCPP. Right. So if you're an entry level graduate or an entry level individual into the privacy domain, these two certifications are really helpful to enhance your understanding, and it will help you understand the different terminologies that goes around the different key areas that you have to identify. And at the same time, we would also want to understand some practical skills around it. Right. So that is what CTDPO Foundation would teach you, because this is something that we have created based on our consulting understanding, based on different industry problems. We came up with a course so that you can directly be industry ready in terms of an entry level privacy professional role.
As I'm part of virtual internship with Tsaaro, I have one question about opportunities. Will this internship help me get into companies as freshers? Siddhi, I feel like anything and everything that is helping you build, right? Let's go a step back and kind of map our careers. So step one is developing the knowledge, right? So anything and everything as an internship you're taking, course you're taking, whatever you're doing, it should all, stars should align, right? So you should know privacy. It should become easy for the hiring manager to take you, so that the person on the inside can, this doesn't need to train you so much. That is the first step that we should not be forgetting. Step one. So you're doing step one right now. We are doing it because we wanted to run a CSR program, make it free for everyone, so that they can learn something in privacy, and then you can choose whether they want to be in privacy or not. But that is for another day. So Sayoni Acharya has asked Krishna, this question is for you.
Yeah, I'll just take it up. So I think the question is, the job description of bigger MNCs look for the candidate to be an all-rounder, but one cannot be expected to be a SME in all areas of data privacy. So can an applicant still apply with experience in one or two areas? If yes, how to pitch into the hiring manager if they don't have the bandwidth to train people on the job? So that's a really good question, Sayoni, and I'm happy to answer it as well. So looking at it from a MNC's perspective, what you also have to understand is that privacy is slowly coming up as a profession wherein you would have dedicated privacy professionals. Not every organization may have a dedicated privacy professional. It's usually coupled with either GRC, your governance, risk and compliance, or it could be under other divisions such as information security, or maybe under the CIO. Right. So in those MNCs, you would not see someone who is looking for a fully, expert privacy professional. They would also want you to understand certain nuances of maybe information security or risk and compliance. Right. So what you can also pitch to the hiring manager in this case is how privacy is structured. Right. So if you understand the structure of privacy, if you understand the privacy programs, the different segments that are a part of it, and if you can explain that to the hiring manager, then I personally believe it would be a really good start for you to pitch yourself as well as your key work areas. And when you say that there are one or two work areas that you're expert in or that you understand really well, you need to focus on your strengths and you need to understand at least the basics of all the other privacy areas. So I will never say that I'm a data subject request expert, but at the same time, I can make sure that I can run your DSR program. So looking at the second section, the basic experience part, we have different IPP certifications, but we also have CTDPO intermediate, which builds upon the layer of knowledge that you built in the beginner course. CTDPO intermediate also has a lot of practical nuances that come in, and you will have industry experts, people who are actually practicing privacy, come and teach you here. And they would also give a lot of case studies around what they encountered in their daily role. And it would also help you align that theoretical knowledge to what actually happens practically in the industry. Right. Then the last part, the seniors in the industry, we have the PCB CDPO, the Certified Data Protection Officer. We also have the CTDPO practitioner. Now, CTDPO practitioner is a one-of-a-kind course because we have partnered with a few privacy management tools, which also helps you understand how to actually run those tools. So you would see a lot of privacy professionals who are coming from a law background or an IT background, and you may sometimes also see that they may not understand the IT aspect of things on how integrations are done. But having said that, the CTDPO practitioner course has partnered with Privado and DiveBell. DiveBell is a data discovery tool. Privado is, of course, a privacy code scanning tool, and it is accredited by one of the European institutions, the EIPAC. Right. So that is what this course also offers. Similarly, we also have PCB, which is also a reputed body that you may have seen around conducting a lot of ISO-oriented certifications. So they also came up with one-of-a-kind certification for senior professionals in the privacy industry.
Overall, somebody also asked that question, what is mandatory? Nothing is mandatory. Nothing is, please do not think that any course or certification is mandatory for any job. My friends do not have CIPP also and they are in the jobs. But the only difference at that point in time and today is that when they started privacy, there were very few privacy professionals. So they do not need privacy certifications now to prove their mettle because they already have, they became DPOs. But when you are starting your career, you have to do something. You have to show something that you know something to get salary, to get hikes, to get promotion, to change department, to do something, to take a job. You will need something right now. Also, a certification. See, I'll tell you my perspective. I hire people right, left, and center nowadays. We are highly understaffed, by the way, and we are hiring like we just need people, by the way. This is a stress that is ongoing. Being highly understaffed, and everybody is. I'm not kidding. Everybody, every privacy DPO you call, everybody's highly understaffed. But the problem is that I still need somebody to have done something and come because privacy is a technical, high barrier entry field. So you need to know something to do something. And every time a company cannot spend 3 months, 6 months on you, and then you learn. So when you have a CIPPE, a CDDPO, a DACPP, a CDPO practitioner, at least the company thinks that at least he tried to learn privacy. And if you go to a big four, let's say, when they have to send you out to their clients, then they can say, "Na, that my person is CIPPE certified." That's why these certifications are important. Certification is not, I'll kind of repeat this, certification is not exactly experience. Experience is something else. Experience you will get over the period of time, but certification is a certification to get you inside the industry, to get you promoted faster if you're already inside the industry. So it does a lot of other things above experience. It opens the door, but experience is experience, right? And that you have to earn, right? What kind of job can do or ask in current firm to start in the beginner domain? I feel like you can ask for the upcoming Indian law assessment, like a gap assessment, to understand where the organization is. And a privacy professional's job starts by mapping what type of data organization has. So the first and the best question to try and analyze is, what do we have? What is coming from the website? What is coming from the clients? If we are product based, what type of data the product takes? What type of analysis marketing is doing? That first step of data mapping, which is also called as records of processing activities, is very, very important. And by the way, we have 10 more minutes to go in the session. So if you have any questions, there are big questions now.
Yeah, I think there's one more. I'll just summarize it. So we have Shresht, who is undergoing an advanced diploma program in data protection cybersecurity. He wants to understand what are the specific skills that are most important to be successful in this field.
Important. I think a skill like PIA, ROPA, global knowledge of laws like GDPR, upcoming Indian PD, law information, what are the data discovery, data mapping.
Yeah, I think
policies.
I'll just add on to that. Information technology is very important. So don't leave out that area. You need to understand what different systems are. If you are looking at a product and trying to conduct a privacy assessment, you would want to understand how that product is, from a very high level. You don't have to go down to the very to the code level, of course, at the very beginning, but you need to understand from a high level that how is data actually transferred? What are the services that are in use? Right. So these some of these skills are not very difficult to learn. You can understand it. There's plethora of resources on the internet. And of course, everywhere you would find something that can help you understand how IT and privacy is related. Right. So because in the end, we are focusing a lot on digital data. So you would need to understand how that data is also kind of going around in a cycle in an organization. So you need to understand that cycle of data. I think there's one more question which I'll take it up. Neha has a question. What is the scope for freelancers in this field? Okay. So Neha, that's also a fairly great question because there are a lot of platforms that are available online for freelancers such as Upwork or Fiverr. So you would see that a lot of freelancers are actually available on that platform who help you draft policies or help you conduct certain activities around data privacy. And they have been making a lot of good money around it as well. right? So because a lot of European organizations are actually giving out work to freelancers because they cannot, as of now, afford a full-time privacy professional, right? So the freelance market is pretty great here in the privacy domain.
Right. So I think somebody asked a great question. So I just want to cover that rather than my slides or anything. I think this is very important to know. So the important things in privacy: data discovery, ROPA, and if you want, take a photo of this slide. Like this is the skill that you need to have, guys. PIA, privacy by design, vendor risk management, data breach management, contract reviews, compliance for cross-border transfers, and applicability assessments. If you want, take a photo of this slide, and this is what you need to know, right? Somebody asked this question. I hope this is the answer. I know I don't have enough time to explain each and every of this topic, but I will also tell you I've already done that for free. Already done that for free. It's available on Tsaaro on YouTube page. Just go to Tsaaro YouTube, search for these things. You will have webinars for free. Just use it as much as you can.
I'll just take it over. So as Akarsh was mentioning that there are different roles, and from being an analyst, which is mostly an entry level role in most organizations, you would go to a consultant, to a privacy program manager, and then towards the end, you become a VP.
I was just saying the salary is 1 CR here at the top.
Yeah, I think that's a number that matters, right? So you take that into consideration. Akarsh, number that Akarsh just shared around the top. So yeah, any other questions around the numbers that are associated, you can reach out to us. We'll probably help you with whatever information we have.
The average salary of a DPO who has 8 years of experience right now, and again, I'm not saying 1 or 2 years, I'm saying 8 years, is at least 60 lakhs. Somebody who's just become a DPO for a smaller company, it may be 30, 40 lakhs, right? I get it. But anybody who has 8 to 10 years of experience in privacy, their salaries are at least 60 lakhs. So I don't have to motivate you. Maybe you start less, but I think privacy needs law. And when there is law, then you need to build on it and then get salaries. So start anywhere, but get somewhere. So I think that is something that you should think about. In Europe, the average salary is 71,000 euros, though it's just for the starting job. And average salary also means that people have lower salaries. So it's like 150K, 150K. US we have $150,000. UK goes up to 200K. UK pounds 150K. This is again IAPP stats, not reading it out by myself. And yeah, and the salaries of a consultant when you have 1.5 years, 2 years of experience, then it starts around 15 lakhs. But you have to have experience. Like if you have 2 years, 3 years of experience, then you can get that money. If you don't have experience, then do not expect. Whatever you get is the best. So do not expect too much because privacy is a high entry barrier field. So you need some information, then only you can ask for money. And that is my suggestion to all of you. And yes, guys, and by the way, we come to the end of the session. I think maybe looking at academy.tsaaro.com, right, is the next move for you. Or maybe talking to a privacy counselor or a mentor. It's for free. And yeah, and we already explained you about a lot of things. So I hope that helps you in the down the line. And if you have any more questions, please use our mentorship programs. It's totally for free. Hundreds of people are coming and taking that. And guys, by the way, thank you for joining in. And it was great talking to you. And amazing questions came through. We're privileged to have answered that. And I hope wherever you are having a great weather and you want to enjoy your time, have a great dinner. And I hope you do amazing in your privacy journey. And have a nice day, guys. And I'll see you soon.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn if you have any further questions, and we close this session for now. Thank you. Bye bye.
You guys, bye. Bye, guys.